Okay, welcome to Arsenal Above All, the first show from the start of the season proper, following our 2-1 win. Should have been 2-0, but 2-1 win against Nottingham Forest. I've got Daniel James here with me, who was there watching it live and saw all the chaos that was unfolding before kickoff. So we'll get his thoughts on that. And we've got Stephen Asakwe here as well to talk about that. Obviously, we've got our old stewards and assessor hats on, and we'll be passing judgment on what the hell happened there. And we'll be talking about, obviously, the performance, the selection made by Mikel. Did he overthink it? Did he overcook it a little bit? And lots more, obviously, with what's to come with our next game, which is going to be against Crystal Palace on Monday evening. So what all that's left to say is, let's go. Welcome to the show. As I've said before, we've got Stephen Asakwe with us tonight. How you doing, Steve?
All good, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, very, very good, man. Just come back from a day out at Margate and saw Dreamland and everything. You know, Only Fools and Horses settings.
Okay.
You know, all good, man. Good stuff. I had a good day with the kids. Obviously, raced back to get this chat going with you boys after yesterday's happenings. But yeah, good to see you, man. And thanks for your time as always. And I've got Daniel James with me, is it the treble, the quadruple season ticket holder? I don't know. I know he's got 4 kids. I know he's got 4 kids, but he's got 2. But you know, the 4th going to come. Okay, cool. Oh, cool. Yeah, good to see you, Daniel. How you doing, my brother?
Yeah, all good. A bit worse for the wear with the new addition, new Guna to the family.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, man. But that's it. 4 and out now.
Famous last words.
Yeah, famous last words, mate.
That's like Harry Kane, isn't it? He scored 4 goals for Tottenham and he was out as well, isn't it? So the same.
Yeah,
you know.
He's got a 4th baby on the way and all, isn't he?
Is he? Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Yeah. That's how things run these days. But no, thanks guys for being here tonight. Obviously, we're going to talk about the 2-1 win against Nottingham Forest yesterday. Started off how we didn't expect, with a delay of 30 minutes. Let's start with that, Daniel, because you know that was obviously the build up. We were looking forward to the game, you know, getting a good start, and news dropped that there was going to be a 30-minute delay because of the ticket system. You was there. I assume you got in fine because you had your card and everything. But yeah, what was the vibe like? Because I can imagine the build-up was the vibe, the positiveness, obviously, of the back of last week, winning the Community Shield, going into this season, trying to go one step further. Did that sort of take the edge of how things were going in when the players actually came out? But what was your thoughts on all that?
You know what? It was, the vibe was all right. But once we heard that the time of the kickoff was changed, once we knew that the time of the kickoff had changed, everybody was all right. Everybody was cool. I think the anxiety was around being stuck in a massive queue. Like, it was just a sea of fans everywhere. The anxiety was obviously, if it takes them half an hour, 45 minutes to clear it, that we would obviously miss the start of the game. But once news got around that the kickoff was being delayed, it was fine. It's a sensible thing to do in the end. And by the time the game started, all the queues had gone, to be honest. But like, in terms of like communication from the club, they have been saying for a while they were looking to change the entry system because obviously they wanted to tackle the amount of touts and the bots that people were using to snap up all the tickets online. It's been an ongoing thing for quite some time. A lot of different fans forums and fans channels have been complaining about it. So the club give them some credit. They took measures to try and tackle it. What they've done is obviously there's no technically there's no paper admissions, and the membership cards are no longer valid. Neither are QR codes. Now it's all on like on your wallet, on your digital wallet on your phone. So if you've got Apple or if you've got Android, it'll be the digital wallet on there where you store like your credit cards and your bank cards and stuff like that. So your ticket will go in there. There's loads of other events and concerts and things like that who use the same kind of entry system at the moment. But for some reason, it went haywire yesterday. Didn't work. There was confusion from some fans as to what the digital wallet was. They hadn't downloaded it on their Arsenal app. It's something that just takes 5 seconds to do, to be honest. But yeah, they probably should have done some kind of test events. Maybe actually, they probably did test it in the Emirates Cup. I wasn't there, so I'm not sure. But it was a bit of panic, a bit of mayhem at the beginning. But no stress. The kickoff was delayed.
Yeah,
and then we got in fine in the end. So for those fans that are watching, if you haven't downloaded your digital pass into your wallets, please do it. Yeah, and don't delay us all next time, please.
I mean, Neil was there as well, and he was obviously saying that he was in amongst it with the crowd, and he's saying he's a little bit hairy at times because the amount of people that were around there, and there just didn't seem to be that much communication and stuff. And it's something that's, like you said, done in other places, other stadiums. I think it's done at Tottenham Stadium. I think as soon as they've been doing it, West Ham as well. Probably because
I was at the Community Shield game, and similar entry system there. Just but for some reason, as it wasn't. Let me just make it clear: it wasn't just the fact that loads of fans hadn't downloaded the digital pass. It was also because the system at Arsenal failed as well.
Went down as well.
It went down. So
bit of a mad start to the season. But once they got out, Steve, obviously we were watching it. What do you think of the start of the game, the atmosphere and everything? It sounds pretty raucous, quite a loud rendition of North London Forever. And but the first, from the opening first 10 minutes, it seemed like we were a bit cagey. Obviously, Forest had their plan, sticking everyone behind the ball, and then they had that opportunity with Brennan Johnson, which kind of came from a loose ball, a header out of nowhere, and he should have hit the target at least. But what was your thoughts on the first half performance and that lineup, that formation?
The lineup surprised me. I'll talk about the lineup first because that's the thing that shocks me the most, to be honest. I think the way it looked was that Partey was going to be playing in that inverted right back position, and I don't think he's that. I don't think that suits him, if you see what I mean. It's great that he can play there in that versatility, but I didn't think that was the right position for him. And as the game went on, that we'll talk about later, he mostly came in central and was hardly in that right back position. At times it just looked like it was Saliba at the back because Ben White went to the right and was pushing forward a bit as well. That start was, I think it's to be expected a lot of the times when, especially that first game of the season when nobody really wants to concede. Everybody's a bit cautious and just taking their time to feel each other out and get into the game. That Johnson chance, I mean, as soon as he was through, I assumed it was going in. I couldn't see how he could miss it, to be honest with you. Even if you hit it first time like he did, or if I thought he might even try and round the keeper because he had that much time and space to do it. But we got a let off there, and I said we slowly got into the game, and once we dominated possession, and I think when you look at overall stats, we scored. I think we did like over 800 passes to their 100 and something. But we needed to be more creative. I think that's what we lacked a little bit. We just needed that little bit extra. But this first game of the season, 3 points is all that matters, and we just got to stop conceding at home.
Yes, conceding at home again. We'll wind on obviously to what happened in the second half in a bit. But the first 10 minutes, cagey. had a lot of possession. We knew what Forest were about. And then we flicked the switch, it seemed, with this kind of 3-2-2-3 formation, you know, where it looked like Timber, Saliba, and Ben White went into a three. That allowed Partey in the middle with Rice as a pivot, and then obviously off of him you had Havertz and Odegaard, and then the three up front. And then what I noticed as well, especially, was the amount of interceptions and the amount of tackles and pressures that those three up front made, especially Odegaard and Martinelli and Saka. I think there's a stat where Saka made something like I think he made 5 tackles against Forest. He made 5 tackles and he won four of them. Odegaard made 2. Declan Rice made 4, obviously, when he was playing advanced. And a lot of our joy came from them, just up from the players, winning the ball back high up. And that allowed that. So basically, it was just 5 attacking and 3 and 5 sitting back. So it was kind of an interesting formation for him to do it in that way. I thought, you know, you always say, or you always hear that you shouldn't make too many changes unless it's absolutely necessary. And it seemed like Arteta made a lot of changes. You know, I don't think Partey's played in that position all pre-season, and all of a sudden he's playing in the first game of the season. And Eddie came in out of nowhere. We thought it was going to be Trossard or maybe Havertz again, and he came out of nowhere. So it was quite interesting. But Martinelli sort of lit the spark with his. He just was kind of working on him by himself, wasn't he, Daniel, on the left? Because Timber was obviously tucking in as that sort of third centre back. What was your thoughts on his influence and the way he set up that first goal? A lot of people are saying he did it on purpose. That pass, I don't think he did. I think he did a roulette, and I think he tried to maybe get it out, because we've seen him do it before, right? We've seen him head down, try and run through players and just bundle his way through. I think he tried to do it himself, and it somehow, you know, found its way to Eddie. But what do you think? Steve's not happy with that. But what do you think?
Oh man, you know what? When you're there live, it looks like he meant it. When you see the replay in real time, it looks like he didn't mean it. But then when I saw the slow-mo, the thing that makes me believe he meant it was the fact that he actually back-heeled it, as opposed to it kind of like being a miss kick that ended up with Eddie. So I'm actually in two minds. I don't know. I'd love to hear an interview with Martinelli for him to explain. But before that, funnily enough, being at the game, a lot of us were getting a bit frustrated because we need to, in my view, we need to address this imbalance we have at times where we overload that right-hand side. There was a lot of times Martinelli was asking for the ball, had his hands up. He was asking for the ball. It wasn't coming to him. There was the break of play that took place before he set up the assist. He was frustrated and he kind of gestured to Odegaard like, "Give me the ball. I've been asking." And then Odegaard was like, "Okay, cool, don't worry." And then the next bit of play, he set the goal up, and then you could see him kind of looking over when he did the assist, as if to say, "Come on, guys, man, give me the ball." Do you know what I mean? You see? Yeah. And I think that is a feature of our play we need to improve. I know there's a lot of talk about Saka and how he gets kicked left, right, and centre and stuff, but I think we need to use the left more for Martinelli to use his pace and use his trickery. He wasn't really in the game too tough before that, and like you guys were saying with the selection, I was baffled. I was like, all of us that were there were like, "What is going on?" Partey at right back and Nketiah starting. Like, we were like, "What's going on? What? This is not the game to be experimenting and doing all this foolishness." We just expected to see the usual, really. What we've been seeing in the pre-season. We fully expected Trossard in a false 9 or even Havertz up top. So we were all quite shocked, and it just looked like the first few minutes, although we were knocking it around all right, it did look a bit confused. It looked a bit in terms of the formation, because at 1 minute Partey was right back, then White was in the right back position, then Partey at one point had gone completely over to like the left 8 position. Oh, it was just weird, man. We couldn't pick up on it. Arteta made this comment about being unpredictable. Bloody was unpredictable. We didn't know what was going on. I don't even think the players knew at one point. But for me, I think, Steve, as you just said, like this wasn't the game to be doing all of that. Just put your normal 11 out, get Forest out of the way, don't concede at home. But Arsenal did what Arsenal do, which is make us nervy, concede a goal, and give Forest a good reason to give it a good goal in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was felt very much like, you know, a lot of games that you obviously witnessed in the flesh, where it was like we've got this game on, you know, under control to a certain extent. We need another goal. Oh, the other goal goes the other way, and then it's like a basketball game. And then we eventually get a couple more goals to pull away, and you know, we saw that a couple of times. But what was your thoughts on the? I'll let you come in, Steve. I know you didn't look too happy with the whole Martinelli, did you mean it or not thing. But obviously great bit of fortune, a bit of skill, however you look at it, and fell to Eddie, who dialed it up and did the rest.
He meant it. I'm saying it. Okay, I called it. That's it. He meant it. I mean, it happened so fast. Again, like Daniel said, it's difficult to miskick it and just go, "Oh, that's hit the back of my heel." He's obviously meant to hit. He's always meant to hit his boot. Okay, that part is first and foremost. He's doing a rainbow, and he's trying to come out. But as it's hit the back of his boot, he looks to see where it's going, and he sort of stops in motion. If you know what I mean. He's not going on to then chase that ball that he's just hit the back of his boot. So he's meant it. The guy's class. He's world class. And like Daniel said, I saw him again, kind of frustrated figure of just give me the ball. And as soon as he gets that ball, mate, he's something else. So yeah, he meant it. I'm sticking with that.
Okay, two against one. All right, I'll keep that for the future. You know, if I invite you in again, guys, don't worry about that. But obviously, what can you say about Eddie? You know, once he starts, he kind of tends to score for us, or and it's when he comes off. It's when he comes off the bench. It's when he kind of struggles to maybe get in. But when he starts, he scores. I think Arteta said, you know, he showed him in training after the Community Shield game, you know, how sort of angry he was. He flicked the switch. He wanted to show how much he could bring to the team, and he did. You know, I mean, if he carries on doing stuff like that, then obviously with Jesus out, we're not sure how long he's going to be out for. It just gives us another option, another chance to be a little bit unpredictable, as you said, Daniel, in terms of the lineup, because it was unpredictable. You know, he was showing up in different areas of the pitch as well. You know, like he said, the worry was we were just going to Saka all the time. We was always going to Saka, always going there, leaving Martinelli exposed. But yeah, anything, Daniel, on Nketiah? You know, was he, you know, obviously some stuff off the ball as well. You know, what was he like in terms of linking up with Havertz, especially because obviously the two of them was not played that much together.
I mean, obviously that's going to be a work in progress. Havertz himself is a work in progress. It's going to take him a while hopefully it doesn't take him a while. Hopefully he gets up to speed pretty quickly. I mean, he played all right yesterday. A solid 7 out of 10, I would say. Didn't do nothing outlandishly good, and he didn't do nothing bad. He seemed to hold his position well. He knew what his role was, and then you could see when he got the nod when Trossard came on, he got a nod to go up front, you know, to give their centre backs something different to think about with the height and physicality. He done all right to me. For me, there's just too much unnecessary focus on him and the price tag. The player doesn't control the price tag. For me, it's a decent signing in today's market. It's a good player. You know, we can't forget he won Chelsea the Champions League, and he was probably their best player last season. So for me, give him a bit of time to settle into the Arsenal way. and I think we've got a good bargain on our hands there. But in terms of Eddie does what Eddie did what Eddie does, which is if he's got a chance in and around that 6-yard box, he's more than likely going to finish it, especially when he started the game. He worked hard. Obviously, he's a different kind of problem to Jesus. Jesus, he kind of buzzes around. He's good with the ball at his feet in tight spaces. That's not Eddie. Eddie's like, give me the ball in the box, and if I can, I'll shoot. And he put in a good shift and he done all right. I've got no qualms about Eddie's role yesterday and how he played at all. Look forward to him playing against Palace. Really, we don't know what's going to happen with Jesus. And even when he does come back, how long is it going to take him to get back up to speed again? Yeah, so we just got to roll with it, really. I was talking to a Tottenham fan today, and he was saying how much he rates Eddie, saying that they wish that they had a young finisher like that in their ranks they could bring into the squad. So, yeah, whilst Arsenal fans have often complained about Eddie, there's fans of other teams who actually say, you know what, I wish we had a 2 number 9s of that kind of quality. So yeah, done all right.
Good for him. I mean, he's always going to get shots, fired at him, mainly because of something silly like the number he's wearing, rather than seeing what he actually does on the pitch. But yeah, Steve, what about the star boy? We're talking about him getting so much of the ball, and maybe it becoming a little bit predictable in terms of the attack, but when he produces what he produces, a rocket, pretty much a bit similar to what he did for England in the summer as well. People are saying that he's probably one of the best in the world at the moment. But what's your thoughts on what he did yesterday?
You know what? I'm going to touch. We're going to have to do a show where we just touch on each player, and go through all of our players. Eddie turns into Thierry Henry when he starts, especially at home at the Emirates, and his goal scoring there is pretty phenomenal. So well done to Eddie and Nketiah. Our star boy, the little Chile, God's child, whatever you want to call him, the guy is fire. He demands it. He demands it on himself. So yes, the ball goes to him a lot, but it's because when Aubameyang left, he said he was going to step up and be that guy, and he's done that. Okay, so I understand Martinelli's frustration and not being that guy, because I think he is that guy as well. You can pick and choose who is that guy between the two of them, who should be getting the ball more. I think with Saka, I think he just demands it more because he plays in general he plays more minutes than Martinelli as well. So he just demands the ball more to be that guy. I think Martinelli, as this season grows, I think you're going to see him start going, listen, I'm that guy as well, like he did for his assist for Eddie. But I can't, that finish, when it went in, it flew in. He's sort of off balance because the defender's just off him as well. Yeah, he's just rode a challenge for one defender, and it's such a good finish. It had power, it had pace, it's top bins, it had accuracy, it had bend. It just had everything that you want from somebody finishing in that sort of vein of form that he's in at the moment, and that he has been for the past 2 seasons, to be perfectly fair. Like I said, I get it. And yes, sometimes he is a bit predictable in terms of how he passes back to Odegaard and how him and Odegaard link up, and him and Odegaard and Ben White as a triangle link up as well. But he's fire. Like I said, the kid is fire, and he's still what, 21? Fire.
He's 21 or 22 now. Or 21 in he still, just got.
It's crazy. He was sensational, and I think it was his defensive work so much more than his attacking yesterday as well. The amount of times he won the ball back, the pressures he put on that fullback, had a good little battle, and phenomenal goal, phenomenal performance. And it's good that some people are saying, these 2 kids are gonna, they elevated their game last season. Are they going to do it again? Are they going to get those numbers again? Obviously, one's already got an assist and one's already got a goal. So, just kind of keep that sort of thing going. So yeah, things going well. We're 2-0 up. creating some chances, some opportunities. William Saliba's at the back with his smoking jacket on and his cigar and his a little bit of rum, in a tumbler, just chilling. That guy didn't make a tackle all game, just saying that. And neither did Ben White, your boy Ben White, didn't make a tackle all game. Because when you've got, like I said, when you've got those guys at the top, at the front doing those tackling like that, then you kind of, you got it kind of easy. But yeah, didn't make a tackle all game. Things going well, and then during Timber gets his injury, and he had a dodgy 5 minutes. Which before that, the ball came to him before, and we were on the attack. He had a really easy ball on, and I think there were a couple of passes he made where he underhit it. For some reason, he was underhitting passes where he passed it to Martinelli, and he was underhitting it, and Martinelli was almost had to chase to get the ball away from the defender. And before he got his injury, he got the ball moments before that, and he did a basic pass. Straightforward pass, and you hit it straight to the Forest guy, and then they were on the break. And then he did the same thing again, which led to him overcommitting and making that tackle on Brennan Johnson, which led to that foul. So I don't know whether there was something going on before that maybe he just wasn't feeling right. He wasn't hitting the ball right. But yeah, it's a big worry, and it looked like, okay, we're 2-0 up for me. We're 2-0 up. First game of the season, he got a yellow card for the tackle as well. He looked really shaky. He looked like he was in a really bad way, and I was really shocked to see him come back on in the second half, man. For me, I was surprised. I thought, okay, we'll take him off. First game of the season. Apparently, the doctors have said it may have been muscular, or they obviously would have asked him and said, how do you feel? But then for him to go down so soon in the start of the second half with no one around him. And I think you saw the reaction of the players as well. They looked really sort of concerned. You look at Ben White's face there, and Ben White's, one of the coolest guys around, and he looks really concerned about what's going on with him. And what was your thoughts? Because that seemed to take the wind out of the sails, didn't it, Dan? At home, and in the stadium as well. You heard the gasp, it was really audible, and it seemed to throw us a little bit. Obviously, Tomiyasu come on, but what was your thoughts in that? Because, like I said, I would have taken him off. First game of the season, there was no risk. We're 2-0 up. We've got the squad now. We've all said that. James, yourself, Neil, Bez, everyone that's come on here has said we've got the squad now. So just take him off. But what was your thoughts? What was going through the heads?
Yeah, when we saw him go down, we were like, oh, everybody was like, oh no, Timber, no. So we were just worried that it's going to be a significant injury. You're right. He was having a few shaky moments before that. Passes were short. He definitely is a good player, good tactical player. Probably just needs to just maybe just calm down a bit. Maybe once he gets into the Arsenal way a bit more. Obviously, there's a lot of talk and a lot of hype, not hype, but there's this new inverted fullback thing is a thing now, isn't it? Really, a lot of clubs are going to be doing it. Liverpool are doing it now, and Pep was doing it from before anyway. But maybe there's some kind of over exuberance with feeling that he needs to get in those positions in the middle to play the ball. I don't know, but whatever was going on in his mind, he was a bit shaky, and then he overcommitted in that tackle and ended up hurting himself. Hopefully, it's just a slight twist or whatever, and he'll be back. But fingers crossed, it's nothing worse than that. If it is, you can see the difference between him and Tommy. When Tomiyasu came on, good player, good defender, solid defender, but obviously Tommy can't do what Julian can do. And that's the same problem what we're seeing with Tierney on the other side as well. He just can't do what Zinni does. It's not, I don't know if it's not in him or, he said it himself. He's used to just bombing up and down the left-hand side, not having to worry about tucking into the midfield. And do you know what I mean? So it's a way of playing that Arteta obviously favours, and it's something that our fullbacks are going to have to get used to. We don't want to end up like Spurs, signing all these wing backs and then the coaches change their way of playing. You've got millions of talent, Pedro Porro and all the other wing backs that they've got that can't actually play as an orthodox right back. So it's good to have, you know, some tactical news there. But yeah, hopefully he's all right, and we'll see. But if he's not, then we have got Tommy, we have got Benny Blanco. We haven't got the depth now, so we can easily move things around.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be just interesting to see what happens on Monday night, because whether Zinchenko comes back in, because obviously he's saying that he's kind of fit now. So I know that Arteta's thrown him in before when he was kind of touch and go and he was fit. When we played Chelsea last season, we beat Chelsea 1-0. I don't think Zinchenko like trains for days and days, and he was just fit, and they said he passed him fit. And he's thrown straight into the team. I think it took him off after an hour or 70 minutes because he was absolutely shattered. So I wouldn't be surprised if he throws him in and he starts and they just sort of continue this sort of inverted tactics. But yeah, Tomiyasu come in, did well, but the second half, obviously, you know, looked in control. We had a couple of half chances. Declan Rice had a decent game. I thought did the bits well, worked well with Odegaard and Partey, and I just think that partnership or that trio will just work better and better the more times they play. You know, he looked really assured, Rice, and we know what he's about. But then the goal, you know, Forest throw, you know, as you said before, Dan, I think before we came on, it was like a little bit like Groundhog Day. A lot of games we played last season at home, especially where we go ahead, we score a couple of goals, looks okay, we could do with one more. Let's get the next goal. The next goal goes to the opposition, and then it's like a basketball game. And you know, I know Steve has said that as well. He's you know been watching it. Mainly with myself, you know, like I have, and yeah, it seemed like a little bit of a groundhog sort of situation. It's like, oh no, again, and as you said, keeping a clean sheet. You know, just keep a clean sheet at home. We haven't done that again. Did you think the goal was one? Should it have been a goal? Do you think Havertz was fouled in the build up? And two, the defending as well was pretty poor. The only thing that worried me during pre-season was us in transition when we lost the ball and when we were countered. And I thought we got done, obviously, like that against United in the pre-season game. We were hurt a couple of times against Barcelona, again, conceding a lot of goals. I just think that was the only sort of worry. We just seemed very open in transition. You know, as soon as we lost the ball, it was like a little bit of a gap and everybody was sprinting everywhere. And all that. There wasn't any sort of control there. But what was your thoughts on that goal, Steve? Was it more of that? Was it just inspired play by Malanga and Iwanyi who came on and obviously scored last season against us and scored again? What was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great piece of play, to be perfectly fair. I'm not those but it's our job to stop it from happening. Like came on, and his pace was frightening, man. He was quick. So there weren't anybody catching him. So, you know, hats off to him. He was quick. He was gone. My guy Benny, he's in a good position at first. You know, the forward gets in front of him, and it's milliseconds. It all happens so quick that it's, you know, it's difficult to judge.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. You just have to sort of hold your hands up and say, we shouldn't be letting that happen. I think what we saw last season, and we've seen it a few times last season. We used to see it a lot on the when we go 1 or 2 up and just go, we're winning, and then we mess around. We don't finish the job, and that's what cost us last season. And we're at home and we're 2 up and we're cruising. We need to kill the game. It's pull out your Mortal Kombat special, and as soon as you don't do that, everybody will tell you. The pundits were saying it. we've all said it before.
Steve, sorry, bro. Your sound breaking up a bit, Steve. Sorry, Steve. Your sound's breaking up a bit. Yeah, it's a bit robotic, so a bit crackly. So I don't know whether it's just the signal or whatever is dropping off. I don't know whether it was my end or not. But no worries, man. But yeah, don't know if you need to rejiggle something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm in the box room. Usual room. But yeah, basically, all I was saying was we needed to put out a finishing move and finish them, and we didn't do that. And we can't keep on doing that. You know, you've got to learn from last season. You need to be professional and just see out the game.
Yeah, cool. I kind of got the gist of that. Yeah, it's a bit crackly, man. A bit buffering, but yeah. From what I could hear, I agree most of it. Yeah, we need to. Hopefully, it's just first game of the season. Teams are gonna have a free shot. If they feel that they're in a game with 20 minutes to go, that's kind of what happened with Forest. In it, if it was 3 or 4-0, then things would have been cool. But 2-0, we know 2-0 is a funny scoreline. Because all it takes is one goal and that's it. It's all like all hell breaks loose. But yeah, at the end of the day, 3 points got over the line. A couple of interesting cameos again from Trossard, where he did that run, where he just showed put the afterburners on. Didn't realize he was that quick, and yeah, a great bit of play. Again, thought he was unfortunate not to start, and again he came on and he did okay. Apart from the defending for the break, he didn't know what he was kind of doing, and yeah, just a bit. Disappointing we didn't create more clear-cut chances, apart from the ones that kind of fell to Rice. Obviously, him hitting the post. But, yeah, 3 points. When you see everybody else winning, you just got to keep doing the same thing. The good thing is next time we play, by the next time we play, I should say, we will know what City and Newcastle would have done to each other. So whether one would have continued winning or drop points, because obviously City have got the Super Cup on Wednesday, and they've got a pretty tricky one against Newcastle quite early. And we saw what Newcastle did yesterday to Villa. So again, we've just got to focus on ourselves, go to Palace, and just do the business. Would you change anything, Dan? But I imagine you think that Arteta will make a few changes. Again, do you think?
Yeah, for Palace, he's got to bring Gabriel back in that back line.
Was he injured? Did he have a knock or something? Because people were saying he had a knock.
He claimed it was tactical. That's what he said.
Right.
It was tactical.
That's interesting because the guy's played like 73 Premier League games in a row or something like that. And then
why would you break that man's consistency just for Forest at home? It's just strange. It was really strange for me. Unless there was something going on and he's protecting, obviously, him. Maybe he did have a little knock or he was a bit tired or maybe he hasn't trained very well. We don't know. There could be a reason why. It was strange. But anyway, I would like to just see the team that finished the season last season. Obviously, minus Jesus. I just want to go back to what was working before. I don't see the need to make any drastic changes. We're going to Palace, a Zaha-less Palace. Thank God, another one of the thorns in our side is gone, along with Kane. So I just want to see us go there, get a win, and just keep it the way we were playing last season, man. I don't know when for me, pre-season is when you try all that stuff, or cup games is where you can try them little things. But the bread and butter Premier League games, I don't really like seeing drastic changes. But that's just me, man. It really, for me, like I was really annoyed. Like even when the final whistle went yesterday, I wasn't cheering, and I saw Arteta fist pumping and stuff like that. And for me, I was like, mate, that's not a situation to fist pump about. You should be getting the players down the tunnel and saying, guys, there was no need to put us under that much pressure the last few minutes. We had so much of the ball, made all these passes. We didn't create enough. Like, it's Forest at home. These are going to be in and around relegation at the end of the season, with all due respect to Forest. But for me, I just, at full-time whistle, I was relieved, but I weren't happy. I weren't happy at all.
I think that was, I'll tell you, see his face, he was relieved. And he was maybe trying to mask it a bit in terms of how he felt, because I'm sure he would have felt a bit let down by the way that we defended that goal. And there's an element of me that thinks that maybe he overcooked it. He overthought it a little bit. I think he maybe get shot down. It may be over disrespected for us a little bit by putting that sort of lineup out in that situation. Where you've seen City win the night before, and you're just thinking, okay, let's just go out there and just do the business. But obviously, maybe they've worked on this formation. I'll imagine, obviously, they must have worked on this formation behind closed doors, and they didn't want. He's got the element, unpredictability again, which is probably a key word of this show. But the unpredictability of what we're going to present to opposition. So he didn't want, obviously, Steve Cooper to see what maybe he was going to do. But to be fair, he did this against him last season when we lost 1-0 to them. He played that sort of formation. But obviously, this time it was Kiwior out on the left, and Partey was still doing the right back inverted stuff. So he had seen it. He had eyes on it. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does on Monday night, because we know what's coming, Steve. Palace's first game at home, Monday Night Football, under the lights, with their fanatical fan base. Again, do you think he needs to change it? Do you think he needs to maybe a bit more as you were, what he used to, or do you think he's just going to be doing this, throwing left field formations out?
I think you guys are still going to have problems with hearing me. Net issues at the moment. Okay. But I think when I touched when we last spoke, when I was last he's going to look for this fluidity throughout the whole team. I think in these early, going to be changing players and just bringing players in. There'll be a core group of players that will play, but in general, it will be, a few changes here and there every couple of games.
Hopefully, let's hope whatever he does, it works out, and we just basically get out there with 3 points. Good performance would be great, but as we've kind of said, 3 points, but try and have a little bit of polish on it so we can go forward. But then looking back last season, we were talking before we came on, we won 2-0 at Palace. First half performance was raved about by Jamie Carragher in particular, and Gary Neville, because obviously they were coming down expecting us to get turned over, but we didn't, and we put on a sensational first half performance. The second half we dropped, and Palace had a couple of opportunities. I think Ramsdale saved us a couple of times, and it wasn't until we had a breakaway and Saka scored, had that cross which was turned in by Mark Gui, which basically made it 2-0 and sealed the game. So we kind of, almost an element of the same sort of thing we saw on Saturday, and then we know what happened the next game. We played Fulham, went 1-0 down because of an error with Gabriel, with Mitrovic obviously pickpocketed him, and then we obviously had the 2 late goals. So yeah, in those instances, the performances weren't great, but we got over the line. We got the 3 points, and I think that's going to probably be the case again against Palace until we get up to speed. Maybe the fatigue was still in the legs after what happened the week before. But going to be interesting to see what happens. Big season ahead. Looking forward to it. Obviously, I know you guys are as well excited with what's to come. We've got obviously some big games in the first opening couple of weeks of the season. Games that are going to show us where we are, because I think we've got obviously Palace, we've got Man United, Everton away, which we've got to go there and turn them over. We've got, if we're serious, we've got to go there and beat them. We've not done that under Arteta. We've lost each time, and and they've been against shocking Everton sides. Really, really poor Everton sides. So we need to go there and turn them over. So we've got the next couple of games obviously under there. We've got obviously Fulham again early, United again. We need to put a statement there. They're going to want to try and do something, and obviously we've got Tottenham minus Kane. That's going to be interesting as well to see what their tactics are going to be under their new manager. And then we've obviously got Bournemouth away. So we could get off to a really great start. And then by then we know who we'll have in the Champions League groups as well. So yeah, exciting times ahead, man. And let's just hope we can just keep it going. And I think, just to finish, do you think with the Timber injury, Dan, do you think there's a possibility of us still maybe getting something in the market or not? Or do you think, again, because of Zinchenko maybe coming back in and Tomiyasu, there's rumours of Tierney going to Real Sociedad possibly. Do you think anything changes in that regards, or he just sticks with what he's got?
For me, I think he sticks with what he's got. Zinny will come back in, and Tomiyasu can cover on either side. It really, I don't think it changes. I think we've done a lot in terms of financial expenditure in the summer. So for me, we really need to be looking at who's going out. We've got loads of players. Deadwood still here. Pepe, Cedric, Tavares, Lokonga, quite a few bits of Deadwood that are still here. So I think until we know what's going on with them, it's going to be difficult for us to put any more financial outlay. I think, Mike, you text me in the week, the way how we've managed to structure this Raya thing is really clever. Hopefully it goes through.
Yeah.
But that's really clever. So maybe they could look at maybe loans or whatever if they need to. But we've had some shocking loans in recent years. So I don't know if that's going to work.
Yeah. Steve, what do you think? Robotic, Steve.
Yeah, sorry, guys. But if you can hear me, if anybody can hear me, I'd like to sign one more, maybe winger, attacker, one more attacking player. It's a difficult one. The club has spent, it's been a while since we can say that.
Yeah, cool. Well, let's see what happens. As I said, it's exciting times. Started for a new season, 20 years since we've won the league. So better good a time as any to deliver and get that title over the line. So we'll be back after the Palace game, probably Tuesday night. We'll have a roundup of that and look ahead to the next game, which will be against Fulham, and whatever else may happen. Whether Raya is confirmed as an Arsenal player, and if there's any other outgoings, and obviously if we hear any news, good news, hopefully, about Jurriën Timber, if he hopefully he won't be as serious as it kind of looks. So fingers crossed there. Thanks for watching the show. Thanks to everyone for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and watching on YouTube and listening on Spotify, Acast, Anchor. Really is fun to do this and to speak about Arsenal with good, like-minded gents like yourselves and others who you'll see this season as we go along. Thanks again, Steve, for your time. And don't know what's going to happen with the subtitles or the captions on this one when it's translated when they do your ones, but we have to see what happens. But I appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate your time as always. So bless to you and to Daniel, juggling 4 kids and everything else as well, and sleep. I appreciate your time as well, bro, for coming on. Lots of love to you. Hope to get more vlogs from you as the season goes on, especially Champions League ones. They're going to be good ones to have on the channel, and I'm sure you're looking forward to talking about those ones again, especially when we get Bayern Munich, and which is guaranteed with Harry Kane, to come back and causes more pain as usual. It's a guarantee that the banker, you know, you better put a bet on it for that one. But thanks, guys. Thanks for your time. We'll be back next week to talk about more Arsenal, more good stuff. Hopefully, another 3 points. And have a fantastic week. So all that's left to say is, come on, you Reds.
Man, remember, Giroud into the box, and they have immediately.